going on, YouTube? This is going to be part 2, step by step on how to remove the starter from the 2000s to 2004 Nissan Xterra's Frontiers. On this video I'm not going to be removing the starter because I already replaced my starter. Tools you're going to need: flathead screwdriver, 14mm socket, extended socket wrench, a short 14mm socket, 12mm socket, and also if you got a set of Craftsman, you get these what I like to call mini socket wrenches. So if you have this, grab this. Comes in handy, especially for the bolt that a lot of you are saying how do you get it out. So get your mini socket with your 14mm socket, take your wrench, and you're ready to go. Now, in the other video I showed you this cable here. This cable here that actually runs from your solenoid thing, so when you turn the key, it actually tells the starter to turn. But like I said on the other one, this is going to be zip tied here. So you get up here, wire cutter, scissors, something, uncut the zip tie, disconnect it by pushing on this here. So you push on it, that'll disconnect. As you see, this cable runs up through the motor mount. Go ahead, once you get it disconnected, go ahead and fish it on that way. And you want to remember to disconnect your negative side of your battery. Disconnect the negative terminal of your battery before you even start doing any of this, just for safety precautions. So once you do that and you get under the truck, you disconnect that. This is your starter. As you can see, the starter has this boot that sits right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop this boot off. Once you pop that boot off there, you take your 12mm socket and you disconnect that. Now you'll see a cable that boot sits on. That cable actually runs along the motor mount, and that goes to, this is your main power feed from your positive side of your battery. So this is the only one you're going to take off. Don't worry about this other one. Leave that one alone. Do not touch that one. So disconnect this one. Once you get that disconnected, go ahead and tuck it up out of the way. Make sure you put the boot back over it so nothing accidentally happens or anything. Once you do that, you take your socket wrench here and this little booger on here. So the bolt, you're probably wondering, you got this bolt here. It's right behind your oil pan. So you'll see it sits right here next to your return and feed line for your transmission coolant. Go ahead, take your socket, 14mm, stick it on there, righty tighty, lefty loosey, unbolt that. Now when you're doing this, you're going to want to hold the starter from there. So you're going to want to take one hand, hold the starter up while you're unbolting it. Now once you get this bolt completely out, you have one more bolt to do. Now that bolt, as a matter of fact, sits right there, directly right there. That's where it sits, right there. Now I have a lot of people asking, how do you get that bolt out? Well, I understand that you're having a bit of difficulty because you have your cat back and your exhaust and everything right here. So that's when you want to go ahead, take your 14mm your 14mm short socket, attach it to your wrench, stick it up in there, loosen it. Once you loosen it, go ahead, put that wrench down and get your mini. Once you have your mini, you can see you get a lot more room up there with the miniature one. So go ahead and loosen it up to get that bolt out. Now remember, you're going to want to have to hold the starter, because if you don't hold the starter will come flopping down. And if you're not holding the starter, it makes it a lot harder to loosen up the bolts. So if you're not holding the starter and you're sitting there trying to loosen up the bolts, you're actually going to start stripping the bolts or the receiver part to the starter. So make sure you're holding it so where it's coming out evenly and straight. Now once you get this one as far as you can, you're going to want to, if you can, get your hand up in here and slowly start turning it with your fingers. That would be the only way to get it out. Makes it easy to actually get it out that way. So once you get that one out, once you get that bolt there and this bolt here, and you have that wire disconnected, and you have your 12mm main power feed here disconnected, your starter should just pop out this way. Now be prepared for a little bit of fidgeting and wiggling and everything, because of course, as you can see, you have your motor mount, you have your oil pan. And for a lot of you that are running IFS out there, be prepared for a little bit more of a struggle, because it is a pain in the ass to get it out with those IFS suspensions. I know I had one. My other Xterra was IFS. As you can see, this one is not. I'm running a solid axle conversion kit on it, or custom made kit I should say. Running a solid axle on mine, so it's not that hard for me to get it out, but for you IFS guys, it will be a little difficult. So once you get it popped out, it's out. Putting it in is going to be the same. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to wiggle it in, get it in there, make sure it lines up. Put this top bolt on first, because this top one is more of a pain. So get that one on, tighten it finger tight first. So don't tighten it all the way, tighten it finger tight so you're able to still move the starter, because you're still going to need to line up the hole to get this bottom bolt in. So finger tight the top one, and then once you slide the other one in, finger tight it as well, and then check your factory manufacturer torque specs and torque down the top bolt and then the bottom one, and then tighten the top and then the bottom one more time. Once you get that done, go ahead and come over here, take your main power feed, slide it back on, get your 12mm socket, tighten down the bolt. There's no factory torque or anything, just get it on there. It's not too tight, but tight so where it won't move. Take your boot, slide your boot back over the starter, or the starter bolt, and then run your wire, which you can see up here, this little guy right here. This is the one that you disconnect, and that's the one that's going to have to come from the motor mount. So stick that guy back up through the motor mount. You're going to have to take your hand, stick it up in here, feel around for it. Once you get it, go ahead and reconnect it. Now this wire here is totally different from the one that you disconnect on the starter with the 12mm socket, because that one is the one actually running from the battery. As you can see here, this wire here is the one that runs to the starter. This one that the thing comes zip tied to. So these are two different wires. The one you disconnect over there is just gives power to the starter. This one here is the one that actually tells the computer when you turn the key to actually engage the starter solenoid. So make sure that one is connected back, or else your vehicle won't start. Then once you get all that done, go ahead and recheck everything and make sure your starter's on there good. Make sure it doesn't wiggle around. Make sure your bolt is on. Make sure the boot's back on as well. Make sure that these are tight. This one here, and that one there. Make sure that they're tight. Go back up, reconnect the battery, and then give her a crank, and she should start right up if it was your starter that was giving you the issue in the first place. Hope this video was a little bit more helpful. I'm actually going to see if I get one of my friends or a buddy of mine to come out and help me make a video, so where I could actually remove it while he holds the camera, because trying to do this alone is a little complicated and frustrating and nerve-wracking. So if I can, I'm going to get one of my buddies to come out and help me, and I'll make another one showing you step by step actually how to do it. I hope this video was a little bit better and gives you a little bit more guidance on how to remove your starter. Again, removing this starter, this video is to remove your starter on your 2000 to 2004 Nissan Xterras and Frontiers. This video is to show you how to remove the starters for it. So hope it was some use to you guys, and have any questions or comments or anything, go ahead and drop them in, and go ahead and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to my channel link so you get more videos like this to help you out with more things. If you have a video you would like made, or you don't know how to do something, drop me a line and I'll see if I'll be able to make a video for you on how to do it. As far as transmission type things, I really don't like digging into the transmission to change the gears or the flywheels or anything like that. Or I really don't do anything like that. So if it's something like a starter, alternator, anything else like that, go ahead and drop me a line and I'll show you guys or make up a video on how to remove anything else that you have any questions or concerns about. Thanks for watching. Hope it was useful to you guys.